Shalom, shalom. Teacher Judea.
I'm Officer Solomon here at the One Nation Israelite School.
And we are One Nation Israelite School. Happy New Moon, happy New Moon. Tonight is the new moon.
Yes, sir.
So we come to keep it in observance. Just going to bring forth a couple scriptures on it. And Lord's will to be edified.
Oh, yeah.
So give me a split second. We're going to start up in a second. Give me a moment. We're going to start up in a second. All righty. I can monitor what's going on. All right. So here we are. Okay. To the YouTube. Shalom. Okay, so like I was saying, tonight is the new moon, a glorious occasion.
Oh, yeah.
Another high holy day. So what are we here to do? We're here to bring forth, a couple scriptures on the new moon. And I pray all is well with you all out there, that you're observing the new moon in this time appointed. And I pray that the class be edifying. With that being said, we're gonna try to go through it briefly because we don't want to hold everybody. We know y'all ready to get to the festivities of new moon, but like the scripture say, feed the spirit first. And we're going to enjoy the feast. Got a nice little meal prepared to go. All right, it's 8:35. Let's get into it. All right, so now, what is the new moon? What's the new moon? Let's celebrate the new moon. Let's get it. Let's open up with Leviticus chapter 23, 1 through 4.
Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7 days the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocation.
Tonight is a feast day and also in holy convocation. Come on.
Which ye shall proclaim in their season.
Proclaiming their season. So we know that everything has a season. And we base that off of the moon. The new moon is the beginning of our months. The beginning of the next month. Okay. So now, with that being said, let's get into the class because I don't want to hold us too long. Let's go straight to Psalms. Let's go straight to the book of Psalms. Psalms chapter 81, verse 3.
Psalms chapter 81 and verse 3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon.
So we're supposed to do what?
Blow up the trumpet in the new moon.
So that's required. That's commanded. That's a law. And we're going to read that in the next verse. Come on.
In the time appointed on our solemn feast day.
Solemn means serious. A serious feast day. Come on.
For this was a statute for Israel and the law of the God of Jacob.
So it is a law that we blow up the trumpet on the new moon. Anything that's a law, you can find it within the first 5 books. So let's go to Numbers 10 and 10 to get that. We're going to Numbers chapter 10, verse 10.
Numbers chapter 10 and verse 10. Also in the day of your gladness and your solemn days,
which is today, a day of gladness and a solemn day, meaning a serious day.
And in the beginning of your months,
come on,
ye shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings.
So today is the beginning of our next month. We're supposed to blow over our offerings. Come on.
And over the sacrifices of your peace offering.
All right.
That they may be to you for a memorial before your God. I am the Lord your God.
All right. So we are commanded to blow up the trumpet in the new moon. All right. So with that being said, let's blow up the trumpet real quick. All right. They better not try to play me now. Glory to the Father. All right, so we are commanded to blow up the trumpet on the new moon. Now, I want you to read that again because there was something in there.
Also, in the day of your gladness,
come on,
and in your solemn days,
come on,
and in the beginning of your months, ye shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offering.
Okay, that's right there. Okay, read on.
And over the sacrifices of your peace offering.
All right. So now, we don't sacrifice animals today. So what do we sacrifice then?
We sacrifice ourselves.
Give me that. Let's go to Romans 12 and 1 real quick.
Romans chapter 12 and verse 1. Romans chapter 12, verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice.
Present your bodies a living sacrifice.
Holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service.
Right. Now, what is holy?
Oh, to keep the laws and commandments.
Right. Romans 7 and 12. We ain't got to go there. We ain't got to get it today. All right. Now it says over your offerings. So we dealt with the sacrifice. You're sacrificing yourself. We do that on a daily basis. Some of you got to be to work tomorrow, but you're here you're sacrificing yourself, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, denying your flesh. turning down the things in the world that we knew to be fun. You sacrificing yourself. All right. Now let me show you what your offering is. Give me Sirach in the Apocrypha, known as Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, but we're gonna call it's also known as Sirach. So let's go to Sirach chapter 35 and give me verse 1.
Sirach chapter 35 and verse 1. He that keepeth the law bringeth offerings enough.
Hold on. Read that again.
He that keepeth the law bringeth offerings enough.
So he that keepeth the law bringeth offerings enough, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Read on.
He that taketh heed of the commandment offereth a peace offering.
And that is your peace offering. Those who take heed to the commandments. What is a commandment? That we observe the new moon.
Yeah.
Right. So now let's get Sirach 43 and 6. Sirach 43 and 6.
Sirach chapter 43 and verse 6. He made the moon also to serve in her season,
right,
for a declaration of time and a sign of the world. From the moon is the sign of feast.
Right. So off the moon, we can tell what our feast days is, when the feast is coming up, because the moon has a rotation. We'll get into it. Come on.
A light that decreases in her perfection.
That light decreases in perfection because it will decrease on time. If you keep up with the cycle of the moon, you could always catch up by what? When there's no moon in the sky.
Yeah.
That's why we know it's the first day of the month. So it's that moon is on a cycle and it decreases perfectly. It goes from a full moon to no moon, and it's perfect with its time. Come on.
The month is called after her name.
The month is called after her name. That's where we get the word month from the moon. Come on.
Increasing wonderfully in her changing.
Increasing wonderfully in her changing, right?
Being an instrument of the armies above.
Come on.
Shining in the firmament of heaven.
Meaning it sits in the ozone, right? Shining bright in the ozone. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, verse 8.
Come on.
The beauty of heaven, the glory of the stars, an ornament giving light in the highest place of the Lord.
Now, what you got to understand is when it says changing and decreasing and increasing, what you have to understand about that is what that is telling you. That is, have you ever seen the phases of the moon? You notice how it goes from full and it goes to crescent and it goes to no moon, then it goes and it builds back up and then it goes back down. That's the cycle of it. All right, so you go from period point blank. You have a full, let's say you have a no moon. You know, that's the first day. When the moon gets full, you're in the midpoint of the month. When it starts to decrease all the way to there's no moon again, then you're back at the beginning of your month. All right, so that's how we read it. We know that when there's no moon in the sky, what day is that?
The moon is the first day of the month.
It's the first day of the next month. All right. Now we are to rehearse these righteous acts in this land of captivity, meaning we are to practice keeping the new moons and everything like that. Let's get that. Let's go to back to the Bible. Let's go to Judges 5 and 11.
Judges chapter 5 and verse 11.
Come on.
They that are delivered from the noise of archers in the place of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants of his village in Israel. Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates.
All right, so read verse 11 again.
They that are delivered from the noise of archers in the place of drawing water.
In the place of drawing water. That means in your land of captivity, wherever you serving your captivity at, come on.
There shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord.
There, in that place. So when people say you don't have to keep the new moon because you're in captivity now, that's not so. It says in the place of drawing waters, there you shall rehearse the righteous acts.
Even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants of his village in Israel.
Come on.
Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates.
All right. So now, if we have to keep, we're doing this for a reason. We're rehearsing the righteous acts because if you're rehearsing something, that means you're preparing for something else. Like if I rehearse a skit, I'm trying to learn them lines for the day of the play. You're rehearsing these acts so that in the kingdom, Because when we get to the wilderness, that's orientation. That's going to determine if you get the job or not. So you better be rehearsing the acts now so you can do that thing to the fullest when the time comes. We're going to have to do the new moon in the kingdom and at the new moon, the Sabbath, and all the high holy days in the kingdom as well. Somebody might believe it. Let's get it. Let's go to Isaiah 66, verse 22. Isaiah chapter 66 and verse 22.
Isaiah chapter 66 and verse 22.
Because those who are not rehearsing these righteous acts, they're going to be put to death. And if you don't know how to keep them in the kingdom, you're going to be put to death. Yep. Which I don't even know how you're going to get in there anyways, because you ain't keep the righteous acts here.
True.
You ain't do the orientation period. Come on.
For as the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, saith the Lord, so shall your seed and your name remain.
And the kingdom shall remain. The kingdom shall remain before me, so shall your name. Come on.
And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord.
So right there, the Most High is telling you that even in the kingdom, you still have to keep the Sabbath, and you're still going to keep the new moon, and from one feast day to another, you're still going to come before the Most High God to keep those high holy days.
And they shall go forth and look upon the carcass of the man that have transgressed against me.
So now he's saying, and you're going to go forth and you're going to see the carcass of the men who have transgressed before the Most High. I mean, they didn't keep these high holy days and things. They broke laws and stuff. Come on.
For their worms shall not die.
Their worms shall not die. Their worms shall not die. So we're going to see them get eaten at forever, right? Come on.
Neither shall their fire be quenched.
And the fire shall not be quenched. So this is not talking about the valley of Hinnom, where in Israel we used to throw trash over the wall, and they would even take convicts down there and they would set it all on fire. And it would be maggots there, of course, because it was trash. It was trash there. But that's not what it's talking about. This saying your worm would not die. Because if you go to the Valley of Hinnom now, they got pictures on the internet where people laying in the slots where they used to lay the convicts at. There's no worms there. There's no fire burning. So that's not talking about the Valley of Hinnom. That's talking about in the kingdom when you get damnation. That worm will never die, and that fire will never be quenched.
And
happy new moon. Happy new moon.
Happy new moon.
Come on.
And they shall be an whoring unto all flesh.
Right. They should be a whoring to all flesh. You see this, you know, oh, man. That's what happened if you don't keep the new moon.
Yeah.
That's what happened if you don't keep the Sabbath. Right? All right. So now, when does the new moon start? Let's get it. Let's get Nehemiah 13 and verse 19. I want to show y'all something. I'm gonna show you how serious the new moon was to our people with these scriptures as well. This is how serious the new moon was. And this is also, so we get two things in the scripture. We're gonna get when the new moon starts, and we're gonna get how serious our people was about it. Watch this. Nehemiah chapter 13 and verse start at 19.
Nehemiah chapter 13 and verse 19.
Come on.
And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, I commanded that the gates should be shut, and charged that they should not be open till after the Sabbath.
Okay. Read that again because I missed it. I'm sorry.
And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath.
So before it began to be dark. So as the sun goes down, when the sun goes down, that's when the Sabbath and your new moons actually start. Come on.
I commanded that the gates should be shut.
So Nehemiah said, close the gates. I want the gates shut. Why?
And charged that they should not be open till after the Sabbath.
Until the sun goes down the next day. Come on.
And some of my servants set I at the gates.
Right.
That there should no burden be brought in on the Sabbath day.
Meaning no one can come in and attempt us to break the Sabbaths of the new moon. Because, we had people come, they used to sell things. Just period point blank. They didn't want us to be tempted. So he said, lock the gates. Come on.
So the merchants and sellers of all kinds of ware lodged without Jerusalem once or twice.
Why? Because he said lock the gates so the merchants and sellers couldn't come in. Why? Because we were not allowed to buy on the new moon or the Sabbath. Let's prove that real quick. Hold that, but let's go to Amos 8 and 5, and we're going to come back. We're going to show that you can't buy or sell on the new moon. Let's get that at Amos chapter 8 and verse 5, and we're going right back.
Amos chapter 8 and verse 5. Saying, when will the...
Hold on. You got them speed things. I'm trying to catch up. All right, let's go.
Saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn?
Now, hold on. First of all, is these brothers in the right spirit?
No,
they're not in the right spirit, because the new moon is supposed to be a joyous occasion. These brothers said, when will the new moon be gone so we can do what?
So that we may sell corn.
Come on.
And the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephod small and the shekel great, and falsifying the balance by the sea.
So why did they want the new moon to already be gone?
So they can go sell.
Right, because it was in our custom that we do not, well, it's in the laws too. We don't buy on the Sabbath or the new moon. So they was out of the spirit. They was like, man, when will the new moon be gone? I'm ready to sell my corn. All right, now let's go back to Nehemiah chapter 13, verse, where we stopped at?
We stopped at 20.
Okay, pick up from 20.
So the merchants and sellers of all kinds of ware lodged without Jerusalem once or twice.
Come on.
Then I testified against them.
Now, this is how serious our brothers is about the new moon. Come on.
Then I testified against them and said unto them, why lodge ye about the wall?
Why y'all standing by the wall, man?
If ye do so again, I will lay hands on you.
So I'm going to beat you down. I'm going to give you the lump lump. I'm going to give you the lump lump. Don't come back again, bro. Don't come back. Don't come back to the new moon over with. You come back, I'm gonna put the womp womps on you. And they knew that brother had them jumping cables, obviously. Because what happened? Watch this.
From that time forth, from that time forth came they no more on the Sabbath.
So they knew this brother had the things, because they ain't come back. They didn't come back. Now I'm gonna show you that no brother was out of spirit, because we supposed to be happy to know the things that please the Most High.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's get Baruch 4 and 4 in the Apocrypha real quick, and then we're gonna get into it. You know, we almost, like I told you, we ain't gonna hold you long tonight, because you know we got some things we got to handle, but we also want y'all to enjoy our feast day. But the Most High said, feed the spirit.
Yeah.
Feed the spirit. So you know, we must keep that thing keep that in mind at all times. It's a feast day, but it's the Lord's feast day.
Baruch chapter 4 and verse 4.
Come on.
O Israel, happy are we for things that are blessed to. I'm sorry. O Israel. O Israel, happy are we for things that are pleasing to God are made known unto us.
Have been made known unto us. What makes the Most High happy? Us keeping this new moon. Us observing the laws, statutes, and commandments.
Yes, sir.
Right? So now, with that being said, let's get into it. Let's go to Amos. I almost said Amos again. Let's get a little history. Did our forefathers keep the new moon?
Of course.
Let's prove it. Some people may say we lying. Let's go to Samuel chapter 20, verse 5. Samuel chapter 20, we can start at verse 5. We're not going to read the whole history to you, of course, but we're going to touch the key points out of it. And at this point here, we're also going to show you that the new moon is the first day.
Yeah.
Come on.
1 Samuel chapter 20 and verse 5. And David said unto Jonathan, behold, tomorrow is the new moon, and I should not fail to sit with the king at meat. But let I may hide myself in the field until the third day at eve.
Right. So he said, I'm going to hide myself. Today is the new moon. I'm not going to be there. Now, the new moon was a very, very serious occasion.
Yeah.
Our people, like we read at the beginning, solemn feast day. Solemn means serious.
Yeah.
You don't just miss the new moon just to miss it.
True.
Something had to seriously be wrong for you to miss the new moon. All right. So he said, was that the end of 5?
Yeah.
Okay. So he said his seat would be empty, right? No.
Not 5.
No. Read that again for them. Slakia.
And David said unto Jonathan, behold, tomorrow is the new moon, and I should not fail to sit with the king at meat. But let me go that I may hide myself in the field until the third day at eve.
Right. All right. So now let's jump down to verse 18.
Verse 18. Then Jonathan said to David, tomorrow is the new moon, and thou shalt be missed because thy seat will be empty.
Right. So when you in this truth, remember, you don't miss high holy days. You consider your brethren too, because all of us have somebody that we are close to.
Yeah,
like me, I look forward to seeing my brothers here with me. I look forward to seeing Salakia. I look forward to seeing some of the sisters here with me. You know, but when they don't show up, it's make sure you missing the new moon for a purpose.
Yeah.
If you just, there's really no reason to miss the new moon, but let's just say captivity got the best of you.
Yeah.
If you just didn't come to the new moon because you didn't want to go, you out of the spirit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just keep it real with you. You out of the spirit. All right. So now with that, consider one another. So let's get that really quick. Let's go to Hebrews 10 and 24. Hebrews 10 and 24, because we're not supposed to forsake the assembling of ourselves together.
Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 24.
Yeah, that's it.
And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more, as you see the day approaching.
So we are to consider one another and forsake not the assembling of ourselves together. All right. Did I read that? You read that?
Yeah, I read that.
All right. Now let's go back to where we was at. Read verse 18 again.
Then Jonathan said to David, tomorrow is the new moon, and thou shalt be missed, because thy seat will be empty. And when thou hast stayed 3 days, then thou shalt go down quickly and come to the place where thou didst hide thyself, when the business was in hand, and shalt remain by the stone Ezel.
All right, so now let's jump down to 24.
Verse 24. So David hid himself in the field, and when the new moon was come, the king said,
okay, I'm sorry, let me fill y'all in. What was happening was Saul wanted to kill David. Yeah. So David was like, man, let me hide out for a little bit. I'm not going to be at the new moon. I need to go hide myself, whatever. He was telling Jonathan, which was Saul's son, but Jonathan and David was so close. It was like blood brothers. Blood wouldn't have made them no closer. These brothers was really, really tight with each other. So Jonathan, he said, okay, man, I got you, man. You go hide out, do what you got to do. I'm going to find out if my dad trying to kill you. And, you know, you got to read the history on yourself. It fills you in. But they were tight. So he let his brother know, man, look, I'm going to go hide myself for 2 or 3 days. Now, here it goes when David did not show up to the new moon. Let's go to verse 24. Come on.
Verse 24. So David hid himself in the field, and when the new moon was come, the king sat him down to eat meat. And the king sat upon his seat, as at other times, even upon the seat by the wall. And Jonathan arose, and Abner sat by Saul's side, and David's place was empty.
So David's place was empty at the new moon, right? Watch this.
Nevertheless, Saul spake not anything that day.
Come on.
For he thought something had befallen him.
He thought something befell David. Why? Because it was just that serious. Our people did not miss the new moon just to miss it. So he's like, something got to be wrong. Come on.
He is not clean. Surely he is not clean.
That was his thought. He said, man, he ain't clean. He can't be clean. For him to miss the new moon, you got to understand, David is the man of Israel in this time.
Yeah.
Come on.
And it came to pass on the morrow, which was the second day of the month.
Hold on. So if David wasn't there at the new moon, and now it's saying the morrow is the second day, what day was the new moon?
That first day.
It was the very first day of the month. All right. Read that piece again.
And it came to pass on the morrow, which was the second day of the month.
So the new moon is the beginning of all our months. Come on.
That David's place was empty. And Saul said unto Jonathan his son, wherefore cometh not the son of Jesse to me, neither yesterday nor today?
Right. So he said, hey, man, this guy ain't show up to the new moon to eat with me on the first or the second day of the new moon. The new moon is only one day, but as you can see, our people enjoyed it so much. Sometimes they kept it a little longer.
Yeah.
They still had little gatherings and little eatings. You know what I'm saying? So Jonathan, this is how tight Jonathan and David was. What did Jonathan say?
And Jonathan answered Saul, David earnestly asked leave of me to go to Bethlehem. And he said, let me go, I pray thee, for our family hath a sacrifice in the city. And my brother, he have commanded me to be there. And now if I have found a favor in thy eyes, let me get away, I pray thee, and see my brethren. Therefore he cometh not unto the king's table.
Right. So Jonathan knew David really went to hide out.
Yeah.
He knew he really went to hide out, but he was so tight with David, he told his father, hey man, he had to go out of town. He had a family issue. So them brothers was tight. All right. Now, like I said, I won't go hold y'all alone. That's basically touching the basics of it. But understand, you can cook on a new moon. You're not allowed to work. And actually, the new moon is one day. But this, because it fell down on a Thursday night, which means it won't be over until Friday sundown, it's a double Sabbath.
Yes, sir.
Because you can't buy, sell, or trade all the way until Saturday sundown.
Yeah.
All right, it's a double Sabbath. All right, so you can cook all the way up to Friday sundown. You can cook all the way up till tomorrow night. When the sun starts to go down tomorrow night, you go into the Lord's Sabbath.
Yeah.
So it's a double Sabbath this month. I mean, yeah, double Sabbath. Now y'all get ready. I pray that this class, even though it was quick, it was good understanding. As a fact, let me get one more scripture though. Give me Sirach. Sirach 33, verse 7.
Sirach chapter 33.
Verse 7.
Sirach chapter 33 and verse 7. Why doth one day excel another, when as all the light of every day in the year is of the sun?
So it's saying, why is one day better than another? Why does one day excel another? Come on.
By the knowledge of the Lord, they were distinguished.
By the knowledge of the Lord, they were distinguished, meaning they were separated.
And he altered seasons and feasts.
And he altered seasons and feasts. Come on.
Some of them have he made high days.
Which some of them are high holy days, which is like your new moons, your Passovers, your high holy days, your Leviticus 23 days. Come on.
And hallowed them.
And hallowed them, made them holy.
And some of them hath he made ordinary days.
And some are just ordinary days. We don't have the right to question that. The Most High said, this is what it is. You follow the game plan. All right. What verse was that?
That was verse 9.
All righty. That's the end of it.
Yeah, that was that.
All right. So with that, I pray that this new moon class was edifying, that it gave you a little knowledge on what the new moon is about, some of the laws and statutes and commandments of it. I'm sorry we had to rush it, but I got classes up for days. You go watch one of the other new moon classes and get all the full breakdowns if you would like. Once again, we are One Nation Israelite School.
Oh yeah.
You can catch us on Facebook, Periscope, YouTube. All right. You can also get into us, get in contact with us. But by contact, all you have to do is write the One Nation page. I believe we're on Twitter and stuff too, right?
Yeah.
The sister handle that stuff. You can find us there. If you would like to fellowship with us and you are in the spirit and you here in Orlando, we have an actual location. Reach out to us. Write us on Facebook. You can write my personal page. You can write Solomon's personal page. You can write the One Nation page. Get in contact with us personally, and we will try our best to set it up to make it happen. I pray that everybody and love the class, that are keeping the commandments. I pray that everybody's keeping the commandments and enduring in this captivity. Once again, I am Commander Judea, also known as Prince Yizzy.
And I'm Officer Solomon here at the One Nation Israelite School.
And we are
One Nation Israelite School.
Okay, so with that, we're going to say shalom.
Shalom, brethren.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Let's get in. Let's go get this food popping.